everybody, and welcome. This is Mark Viale. Welcome to LAB415's Spotlight on Marketing with the Gen Z Audience. We use these live events to bring clarity to hot topics by inviting industry experts, startup founders, and marketing leaders to talk about their journey and also all things growth. Just a quick intro on LAB415. We're a growth acceleration company where we aim to become your strategic partner in all things performance marketing. We focus on the acquisition side of marketing, but we also get involved on the retention side to make sure those customers keep coming back. Today's topic is no stranger to growth, as most companies I talk to are trying to figure a way how to attract the Gen Z audience. And it's not foolish because they're actually the largest generation on Earth. And they're about 2 billion worldwide, about 70 million in the US. And today's panel is going to talk about their experience with this audience. And we have a great panel. I'm really surprised that we were able to bring these folks on. But first, we have Amy Zehren, who is the head of growth and partnerships at Basket. And if you don't know Basket, Basket is the largest developer of games on the Roblox platform. And Roblox, if you don't know, is like a Gen Z virtual world that's exclusively for Gen Z audience. And if you just think about Basket games, they generate about 100 million users a month. And so a huge audience. And they also have a social arm called Picnic. And Amy has some research on the Gen Z audience from the Picnic group. Next, we have Allie Wilson, who is the director of growth at Thredup. And Allie, she was actually if you don't know Thredup, I'm pretty sure you know Thredup. Thredup is one of the largest resellers of apparel and handbags and so forth. Allie was an early employee at TikTok. I know her because we actually recruited her over to The Real. And so she's very secondhand first. And she has, if I'm ever talking to somebody about influencers, she's my go-to. And so Allie brings a wealth of knowledge from marketing standpoint there. Ma Qing is our last but not least speaker. Ma is from First Card. And if you don't know First Card is one of the few companies in 2023 that was able to get fundraising. And First Card is a fintech company where they're building better banking solutions for college students, so right in the Gen Z audience. Ma comes from the investment world, JP Morgan, where she played a part in transactions for Snap, Uber, and Asana. She's been in the fintech space for a while. At public.com, she brought in content creators and partnerships. And she went on to republic.com. And now she's the CMO of First Card. And so she's starting to bring that whole, and if you go to First Card, you'll see that they have lots of partnerships and content to help college students navigate the banking world. Just to set this up a little bit, and then I'll stop talking. We'll bring in our first guest. I wanted to share with you some of the stats just to bring this into context. So what we're talking about Gen Z, we're talking about people that were born between 1997 and 2012. So they're as young as 10, as old as 26. This is the first generation that grew up with iPhones and social media. And so they're sort of unique that way. They're very avid on playing games online and so forth. You may have heard Piper Sandler came out with some research that they love YouTube. It's their number one platform, beating out Netflix, Disney, and so forth. They tend to love Instagram with TikTok following, but very close. 70% of Gen Z consumers try to purchase products from companies that they consider ethical. So it's really important to them. 65% said they look for brands that make them feel like a better person. 55% of Gen Z said they're extremely interested in environmental issues, which is really encouraging. One thing on their wealth, their spending power. In just 4 years, according to Bloomberg, in the U.S., their spending power went from 143 billion to 360 billion. This is why everybody wants to talk to them, because they're going to have years of influence to come. They save over a third of their income, which is really relevant for First Card. They view newspapers as the most trustworthy news source, and that's like newspapers like WAPO and so forth. Now, there's a whole bunch of stats on like anxiety and depression, but I don't think they're any more. I don't think there's a higher penetration there. It's just this generation is so transparent, and so they're self-aware and they talk about these issues, which is a great thing. So I'm going to bring up our first guest, and I'm very happy to say is Amy Zehren, Head of Growth and Partnerships at Picnic and Basket. So why don't we introduce her? Hey, Amy.
Hi.
Sorry about all the talking, but now here we are. Basket I came across online. It was sort of bizarre. I had no idea that they had hundreds of millions of users from the Roblox platform. I should have said earlier that Amy's brought in partnerships from like Nickelodeon and Marvel. She's also, I'll let her talk about 2 other ones that she just brought in were really key. But tell us how Basket and Picnics, their mission, how is it gravitating so well with the Gen Z audience?
Yeah. Hi, welcome. Thanks for welcoming me. I'm glad to be here. So yeah, just kind of appreciate the introduction. You really nailed what Basket is and what we're really trying to do. But we make products for young people, and we started with Picnic, which is a community app for Gen Z, and we just saw an explosion in the gaming community. And because of that, we then expanded into UGC Gaming, and we have one of the largest UGC gaming studios with 100 million monthly users, which, as you said before, is pretty amazing. And we just kind of saw this niche, and yeah, we're going for it.
And I know that you shared with me some of the research. And if you follow Amy on LinkedIn, you'll see that she's piping in some of this research that she just completed on the Picnic platform. And a lot of it's about AI and Gen Z. Can you share some of the highlights?
Yeah, for sure. So we took the time to do a small survey, and we actually got a huge response, several thousand of our users. And that also just kind of goes to this kind of Gen Z generation. They're really interested in kind of really want to be a part of the brand. They want to communicate with us. They want to chat with us. So they were really excited to be a part of this survey and to give their feedback. So again, it's really important when you're building a brand, or especially with Gen Z, that you get that feedback from the users and really kind of understand what they need so that you can build the product that they really like and that resonates with them. So in that same way, with the whole trend with AI, we thought that we would kind of get some feedback as far as what their thoughts are on AI. And it was super interesting. We got a couple top line things, but some of the spotlights that were super interesting, at least to me and the rest of the team. One of the things that you had mentioned earlier was the ethics piece. So it just seems that this generation, it just really gives me hope, because they are, they seem to be a lot more genuine and authentic and really do care about each other and about the world. And even like with AI, there was 43% that considered that it would be cheating if they just used AI for their homework. So that was super interesting. And again, it kind of goes to that same thing about this generation really caring.
Yeah, because I mean that was sort of, that's the fear everybody has. Everybody's going to start like plagiarizing by using AI and that kind of thing.
And that kind of goes too with brands too. They definitely want to be loyal to those brands that are ethical and that do have causes that they care about, and that it is genuine. It's not just like slapping their logo to be like a part of some like sponsorship or something, but it's really getting involved and really caring. So that's really important.
And you had a stat on artwork, right?
Yeah, that one was super cool too. So I'm really kind of loving all this new AI art and also like the avatars too. They're kind of like you can use AI to like make a really cool avatar, which is really neat. And it seems that the Gen Z, the ones that we reached out to, over half surveyed wouldn't think less of that creator or that it was like less artistic. So I think that's really interesting. And I think that also leans into AI and jobs. So people are kind of fearful also that AI is going to take away people's jobs. But I think that there's a way to like integrate art and jobs into AI if we can figure out how to do it correctly, and that it can kind of improve the jobs, or we can use the right prompts, or just kind of like make it to the next level with AI. So I thought
Yeah.
that was super interesting.
And their biggest fear with AI was what?
Their biggest fear was that it was going to take over their jobs or their parents' jobs.
Yeah.
So again, it's
Which I
super
totally
interesting.
appreciate.
Yeah, and that just kind of shows again that these young people, they do care. They care about their parents. You know, it's not just about me, me, me. So I thought that was really interesting that they had their parents, as mentioned on the survey.
Yeah. So Amy is a pro at partnerships, and like I said, she's brought in Nickelodeon and Marvel, and then you recently brought in a couple of new ones. And I'm just, can you talk to that? But also, like, how do you position yourself with these brands, so they feel comfortable in this virtual world space?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So partnerships is definitely my background and my expertise. I worked with several pretty big prominent brands like W Hotels and Ralph Lauren before I came into this role at Basket. But at Basket, it's really cool because we just really love helping brands connect to millions of teens, and we can do it authentically. And what's really neat too is with the types of integrations we can do, it's really integrating again, not just definitely a logo is great, but they can really integrate with the product. They can try it on. They can drink all these types of things that are like so future forward, and we're already able to implement them right now through Basket. So I think that the brands are getting really excited about this opportunity. And again, it's kind of like the new product placement. If you think back like decades ago, films and TV would be integrating products, but now it's kind of going to be integrated on Roblox. So it's really exciting to be at the forefront.
Yeah, and you just did one with Barbie and
Yeah, Barbie and Forever 21. Yes. So that's really cool. And then we have a couple new ones on the horizon, but we're really trying to um, just be that kind of Gen Z experts for brands across multiple lifestyle categories.
yeah.
And
And
one more, oh, go ahead.
no, go ahead.
Yeah, one more quick thing to add on that too before um, time runs out. But it's also, I think, important to note that when we were surveying and speaking with our users, because that's really part of what makes us special, we do chat with our users, we get their feedback, we DM them, things like that. So we do have feedback that when they are integrating with these brands, like on the games and whatnot, they really get excited that their brands are on there. They're like, oh my gosh, Forever 21, I can try it on. So for this generation, it's more kind of something that they're used to and that they expect. So it's really exciting for the brands because it's not seen as intrusive, at least in the first pilot test cases that we have here. So that's super hopeful and exciting. So it's kind of like a VIP experience for our users when the brands are.
But I imagine you have to be really careful with the brands that you bring in just to make sure that the audience will be
For sure.
cool with
Yep.
it. Yeah. And then talk to me about what's coming up for Basket and Picnic that you're really excited about.
Yeah, so we are just again at the forefront of this explosion, and we're going to be building out our gaming division and hopefully expanding into Fortnite and Zepeto, and then also just continuing to improve our picnic app, which again over the last year and a half had 3 million downloads with really just organic growth, which is pretty incredible for a startup, especially in the social media space.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah.
And Fortnite should be huge. Our next speaker is Allie Wilson, who's the director of growth at Thredup.
Hi, nice to
Hey,
see
Allie,
you.
how's it going?
Good, thanks for having me.
And, I knew Thredup was a Gen Z magnet when I started seeing lots of Thredup packages, the green and white packages showing up at my doorstep because my daughter is, an avid customer. Um, she's in the Gen Z audience. And did you guys see a natural draw to Thredup with this audience?
Yeah, I mean, we definitely have a market for Gen Z. However, I would say that our typical customer is a millennial or a young millennial, especially because we do buy and sell kids' clothing as well. But Gen Z is our third largest market and actively growing. Gen Z is a good fit for Thredup because they care a lot about the environment. You mentioned ethics or aligning themselves with a brand that they believe in. So the act of shopping for thrift really aligns with this, and sustainability is really important for Gen Z as well. So that makes Gen Z a good fit for Thredup for sure. We do actively target Gen Z. And one other thing is Gen Z also thrift is cool. Like they make TikToks about thrifting. They're excited to show off what they find thrifting, which is different from other audience segments who might think that there's a negative connotation with buying something secondhand. So that makes Gen Z a perfect fit for Thredup and for other consignment sites. One challenge that we have with Gen Z is we see that Gen Z is typically using multiple secondhand sites, whereas millennials and Gen X typically pick one over the others.
Oh, that's really interesting. Um, well, I know thrifting is enormous with this generation because that's all my daughter wants. She wants a Thredup gift card or whatever. And when I remember at the Real, like it was a bad word to talk about thrifting and vintage. But here, with these generations, and I just saw a study that came out today that Gen Z and millennials are really driving growth in resale, which is great for you guys. Um, what channels are you guys using that are the most effective? I know you used to be big on influencers at the Real. Um, Tell me what you guys are having luck with.
Yeah, so we have a wide marketing mix and we're across multiple channels. I would say for the Gen Z audience in particular, TikTok ads, a little bit on Instagram, but mostly influencer is really how we're targeting this audience. Influencer is a big portion of our marketing mix at Thredup. It's a bit of a challenge with influencer, which is different than a typical retail brand because we are single SKU. We only have one of each item. So if an influencer shows a cardigan, their followers can't go and buy that exact cardigan. So that's the biggest challenge for us with working with influencers, but we've found really unique ways around that where we have curated shops where the influencer will go and pick items that they like, and then our AI will surface similar items based on different attributes of that product. So we do that in our marketing and then also on our site as well, so that influencers can pick items and then our system finds similar ones for their audience to shop.
Yeah. One thing about if you guys haven't checked out Thredup, they have such a huge inventory. Like product is not an issue for them. They have so much coming in, and it's everywhere. It's high low. It's luxury. It's contempt and everything. Um, how do you, how are you exposing? Are you guys starting to play with AI to expose like those great finds so you don't have to you don't have to go on the hunt? How are you guys working with that?
Yeah, so that's our biggest challenge, personalization, being able to surface the right products to the right people. Like you said, we have millions and millions of products at any given time. We like to say that we sell Gap to Gucci. So, a wide range of brands and different price points as well. So, through our site, we have AI. So, if you are looking at a particular product, you can scroll down and see similar products or products that that seller has sold if you like their style. And then we also do this through our marketing. So we are heavily on dynamic product ads on Meta, on TikTok. And our system actually works great for dynamic products because we have so much that the AI can take in all of that information and then surface the right products to the right people.
Great. One thing I keep seeing they were doing a big TV campaign. See it on LinkedIn. TikTok's doing a lot of promotion of their selling platforms, their stores. So they want you to, and also they want to do their own and resale. Do you guys see them as a threat, or how do you guys position yourselves with TikTok?
Yeah, so having the buying platforms is a challenge for us because we are single SKU, but we do have our catalog ingested into TikTok, so we have the dynamic products on there. We have also found success on TikTok with instant experiences. You can create a interstitial before somebody gets to your site that shows products, and we can curate those products or let the AI curate the products as well. This is great, especially for TikTok, because it's hard to get somebody out of TikTok and onto your site. It's like a very leaned in experience. People are watching it for hours at a time, and it's harder to get people out of that experience than it is, say, with a meta ad. So we found these instant experience pages where you're not asking somebody to directly leave TikTok to be really effective. Another interesting ad type that we've tried on TikTok is working with influencers to do live shopping events. And this actually lends a good hand to a business that has so many SKUs and so many products, because there's only one of each item. People are live shopping and there's an increased urgency there. So we're playing around with that. And then the influencers can also show the products in their videos. Live shopping is really big in other parts of the world, in Asia, and not as popular here in the US, but we're playing around with that a bit too.
Yeah. And maybe the Gen Z will be more interested in that kind of shopping. So one thing you guys should know is Thredup does a really good job with partnerships. They also have a resale report that they do, which is really always interesting. What can we expect from Thredup in Q4?
Yeah, so Q4 is not our typical season, unlike every other retailer. I think that's mostly because people aren't typically buying secondhand items for gifts. However, we do have a lot of products that do make good gifts, some luxury items. So maybe you can't buy a luxury item new as a gift, but you could purchase on Thredup and secondhand. So for Q4, we're really leaning into higher priced items and items that could make good gifts for a holiday season.
Yeah, it's always a great gift card. Thanks, Allie, so much.
Thank you.
And our next guest is Ma Qing from First Card.
Thank you so much for having me.
Hey, Ma, how you doing?
Doing great.
When I first heard about First Card, I was just like amazed. Wow, they got a fundraise. Tell me a little bit about that experience, which I think we could have a show in itself. But just what was interesting to investors in terms of First Card? What was gravitating them to?
Yeah, totally. Last year was definitely a super difficult year for all of the startups, right? Especially for fintech companies. So we're actually super excited that we got money. We raised a bunch of money. But I think being in the stage of First Card actually helped. It might be a lot more difficult for a growth later stage company to raise millions of dollars. But for First Card, we're still a seed stage company. And when investors look at seed stage companies, they really look at the founders, the team, and the market size, and who are your target audiences, right? So our CEO, the founder, Kenji, actually has a really strong background. He built and funded iThink in 2007 when he was undergrad, and iThink became Japan's biggest internship job platform for college students that helped more than 2,000 companies hire interns. So, from the very beginning, I think investors just really believe in the founder and the team. Our founding team has a really strong background in tech and finance. Come from JP Morgan, from Amazon and other fintech companies. And then, investors are just really excited about our target audience. I think they are just generally super interested in Gen Z audience. They believe in the purchase power they can bring in. They're also excited that we're capturing the college market, which is really a market that not a lot of companies have paid enough attention to. And it's almost like, there is a huge group of people who have money. They're going to spend on college campuses, but no one is really targeting at them. So I think they're super excited about us, and we're ready to go.
Yeah, and stay tuned towards the end, because Ma has a great offer for everybody. So you can pass it on to a college student, or if you're a college student, you could open a First Card account. One thing about First Card, what the research tells us is that the Gen Z audience, they're savers. They save over a third of their income so far. We'll see if that continues. Tell me how First Card's sort of incentivizing that, and also like feeling good about the product versus like other banks that may feel like they're, just trying to get money from you.
Yeah, exactly. We actually did a ton of interviews and research ourselves as well, and it's all pointing that Gen Z generation are saving a lot of money. They want to feel safe about their financial decisions. So one of the things that we learned from our research is that 50% of students don't have a credit card because they're afraid of overspending, and also afraid of application rejection. So for this very specific reason, First Card is built to really want to provide safety guardrail at the very forefront. So with First Card, you actually won't have the challenge of overspend, because the money you deposit into the account is actually the amount you can spend. So from the very beginning, we want to make sure that students feel good about not overspend. And at the same time, when you're a member with First Card, we, instead of only helping people to not overspend, we also help people to cash back and grow their savings. So First Card, you can earn up to 15% cash back from local merchants around your college campuses. So we specifically work with different merchants around each campuses, and we partner with other organizations as well to provide this feature. 15% is, it might be, I don't know, it's a lot to me and definitely a lot to students. So they definitely love that feature. And they, when we speak to parents, they understand a lot about savings and APY. So with First Card, you can actually get 4.25% APY, and I should say up to 4.25 APY. So that's a feature that we provide with our First Card Plus members. So that's it's almost a $3 membership fee that you pay to become First Card Plus, but you can get a lot more features by becoming our First Card Plus members. But just in general, people just they're excited about the feature around cashbacks and the fact that they can earn more by putting their savings in First Card than other banks, because the national average APY is I think it's 0.42%. Is super low.
And if I go to the First Card site, will I be able to like find articles like to sort of help, me as a college student figure out the banking world and stuff like that?
Yeah, totally. We're actively trying to build our learning content. So this is definitely one of our huge goals, because we realize by talking to students, a lot of them tell us, hey, I actually don't understand what's APY. I actually don't understand why it's important to, have a saving account. So this is really our goal. We're trying to actually in the future build in-app education as well. So they don't just need to go to our website. They can open the app and see content directly in the app.
Yeah. And I echo that. I hear this fear of like, I don't want to use a credit card because I'm afraid to get in trouble. And like,
yeah,
but it's key to like start building credit. You got to do some purchases and pay them off.
Exactly. Yep.
So how are you, and it's early at First Card, but how do you see yourselves attracting folks, college students, to First Card?
Yeah, so a few things that we are really trying to ramping up. Number one, everyone here has touched upon before, we are really trying to dial deeper in the influencer market. So trying to really work with a lot of the college YouTubers and vloggers who talk about, day in life in XYZ college. Influencers marketing have worked very well in my past experiences with all the fintech companies I worked at. I think somehow, I think influencers definitely helps bring consumer product right in front of consumers' eye without making it looking like an ad. I think that works very well to Gen Z, right? I think TikTok always say make TikToks, not ads. I think that's totally true. And, even 3 years after TikTok, still works here today. So we're going to definitely dive a lot deeper into influence marketing. And then at the same time, you'll be surprised, Facebook ads still work. So that's one of the things that we are also trying to figure out. And then with fintech companies, affiliate partnerships is also a really huge growth channel. In my previous companies, public.com, I think we spend millions of dollars on affiliates each month. And usually when I do affiliate deals, I really want to focus on conversion. So it's not just that you're paying them just for clicks or, for other metrics. Really want to focus on the deeper funnel metrics to really drive and fuel growth. And then with First Card, I think, any credit companies might have the same issue. We experienced a lot of, I would say, abusers. So basically, people would just use a card or do something, take an action to get money from whatever a partner is. So we were really trying to move away from these type of partners and really focus on quality publications like money.com and all these other great publications who can actually write product reviews for us. So so super excited about that. And then lastly, I think on-campus in-person activation is super important for First Card as well. So we're actively partnering with a ton of clubs and, YC always tell founders to do the things that don't scale at the beginning. So I think we are doing a lot of things just to make sure that we take care of our customers. We're doing a lot of speaking events at different colleges. We have 3 events that we're speaking at this week. So every time when we do these kind of events, it's really a great way for us to provide a deeper engagement with the students. So really, I think you need to combine online channels and in-person channels.
And that, I also remember Rent the Runway. They did the college ambassadors. Are you guys thinking about doing a program like that as well?
Totally. We do have a college ambassador program currently. So if any students here want to apply, go to our LinkedIn, feel free to apply. We are trying to build a huge network of college ambassadors for sure.
And then what can we expect from First Card in the next 3 to 6 months?
Yeah, we're shipping a lot of products. So a lot of more exciting things coming out. Number one, we are adding peer-to-peer pay. So almost like Venmo, but that's just another feature into the app. We're building and adding a social feed into the app as well, because Gen Z and college students are inherently social. So through the social feed, you should be, people would have a chance to share how much money they saved, or they can also opt out if they're not comfortable. They can also share, their money tips or where free food is and where, they can get discount. So almost like a Facebook group feed, but instead of First Card app. We're also trying to build educational content in app. So kind of moving everything that's on the web inside the app.
So really recommend, if you want to get in early at First Card, now's the time. Is there an offer that you guys have for our audience?
Yeah, totally. We are doing, we're giving out $10 on the first $30 that you spend with First Card. And then we're also doing $30 on the first $100 you spend on first cart. So feel free to download using the link here. If there's, I don't know if we're going to send a link, but
Yeah, we'll put a link in the link.
yeah,
We'll put on
feel
the
free
event.
to do that. It's a great beginner card for college students who wants to build credit and who doesn't have a credit card before. So give it a try.
Great. And I think the URL that we're doing is firstcard.com/lab415, I think.
Yes, correct.
Okay. Great. So let's bring all of our guests to the table here. Thank you, everybody. We could spend a lot more time, I know, talking about the Gen Z audience. Just want to open it up for Q&A, see if we have any questions from the LinkedIn community. I see we have a couple comments. No questions. One thing I'd love to put out there, while we're waiting for some questions, what do you guys feel like in terms of influencers? Do you feel like it? And I get this question a lot. Should you build it in-house where you're actually going out and recruiting the influencers on your own, so you're vetting them out and going out and doing the legal contract, or should you focus on a agency to do this for you, in-house or agency?
We have our influencer program is all in-house. We have a team that works on this. I think it's important to have this in-house because you do get to build a relationship with these people. Our influencer team right now is going to an event where they've invited, I think, like 20 of our top influencers, having a dinner, talking about products, talking about new ideas that we have to work together. So we really do get this relationship and continue to work with them. So that's really important and something you don't get when you work with an agency.
Yeah, I want to add to that. I think usually this is what I like to do. I like to have one person at least in-house to handle the program. So, so you can have more control of what the influencers want to say and what you want to do and how you want to structure everything with influencers. And I would also take time to select which influencer agency you want to work with, right? So there's a ton of agencies out there. It's really hard to differentiate them sometimes. So I think it's very important to find the ones that, at least from the brand perspective, to find the ones that align with the brand and have the best interests, align their interests with you versus, their goal a lot of times just to make money. So I would find influencer agencies who's actually interested in creating great content with the brand versus just getting the work done. Because that's sometimes, what I see a lot that's happening in the industry right now. Just because, there's a huge market.
Yeah, we do ours mostly in-house as well. We have several thousand influencers that we work with, and it's actually a huge part of our community. And it's also part of our Roblox integrations. We can bring influencers in as part of kind of the advertising deal. So that's really special. But we definitely have real relationships with our influencers. And as Ali said, it's kind of hard to do that when you work directly with an agency. But I think if you're trying to scale your influencers and try and get the bigger ones, I guess if you're talking about micro versus macro influencers, right, you might want to look at some of the bigger agencies to kind of help scale the efforts. And we've used that as well. But doing it in-house is always great because you have control, as Ma said. And it's great to have that relationship and you own the relationship.
Yeah. And then I don't think anybody's done, I think there's a big opportunity with the college NIL partnerships, but I haven't heard a lot of folks dealing with it, but most people are just going direct to influencers. But I do think the college athletes may be a big pickup for this audience. Maybe. We do have a question. With Gen Z saving so much, how will Thredup and other re-commerce places adapt if they scale up their savings?
Ooh, good question. Yeah, Thredup, I mean, it's great if you're trying to save because we do have such great price points, up to 90% off retail prices. And also there's this aspect of selling as well. So recycling your clothes, if you're looking to sell with us, you can get a shopping credit to purchase something else new with the money that you get from selling with us.
Yeah, and I would just echo that I think, especially in this inflationary atmosphere, I think you're going to see a lot of folks, Gen Z for sure, but also other generations going to the resale platforms because it's expensive, and also you're like some of these garments won't last, and I don't want to put them in the landfill, and so Thredup is an awesome opportunity for you to feel good about your purchase and get some great savings.
And that goes too with the passion point we were saying earlier about Gen Z caring about ethical concerns in the environment, and using places like Thredup really aligns with their values. So that's awesome.
Yeah. All right. Any other questions that we have from the audience? We've got 3 amazing folks here. They're ready. They've probably gone through every scenario with this audience.
I just thought of something. Oh, is there a question?
Go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say, Ma, you can add to your advertising. You can partner with us and advertise on Roblox.
So yeah, let's talk about it. Let's talk. Totally.
I totally see that combination, and also Thredup too.
Yeah, Thredup as well. But when you're going through your advertising, I'm like, oh, there's no gaming. So yeah, we can and Thredup too.
Yeah, I could see Thredup doing a discount on first card if you make a purchase.
Yeah, totally.
So that'll be fun. I think there's definitely some synergy between these 3 brands. I'm really happy that we were able to bring these folks to you. And if you have other questions, put them in the LinkedIn event area, and maybe we can get back to you. I will put the URL for the first card promo. Highly recommend it. If you're not a college student, you should send it to somebody that's trying to figure it out, or a high school senior. Thank you, everybody. I don't think we have any other questions. This has been a great event, and starting to think about the next big event. I'm trying to get some people who have recently fundraised to talk about their experience, because I think that's do we have a question here? Emily? No? Okay, just a hi. But thank you again, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you, Mark.
Thank you. And follow us at LAB415 at LinkedIn.